I got a problem. I'm cheap. It's not a huge problem. Sometimes it works to my benefit, but sometimes it doesn't. See, what happens is technically I'll find a product that people will endorse, that I'll like, that I want to test out. Then I'll go look at the price of the product. And the instant I see the price, I want to beat that price. Now, in some ways it's good, I'll look for the best deal. Other times it's bad because I'll look for a comparable product at a lesser price. That doesn't always work out. Case in point, I have a Luxley viola that I paid good money for. It disappointed me in quite a few ways. And then Aperture came out with their line of small RGB lights. And I wanted to get one, but I wanted to beat the price that I paid for the Luxley and that Aperture put out. So I found the GVM, yes, I have it right side, the GVM 7S. And I thought, wow, it came up on sale on one of my favorite sites. I said, I'm gonna buy it. It's cheap. If I don't like it, I could always return it. I got it, and there are quite a few problems with it. Now, this is not a knock on GVM lights altogether, because I own GVM lights. I have the 50RS. It's right over there, and I'm using it right now. And they're pretty good lights. There's a lot of problems with the 7S, okay? For one, the controls that come with the device are not good. A case in point. You would normally have lights that go up from 0 or 10% to 100. So let's try to do this properly. Let's say this light's facing on me, and let's make sure we do this right. This would be the control for the light intensity. Did you see that change much? I went on the complete dial from what you would consider 0 to 100 to be, and that is how it changed. Now you can change the light intensity in terms of, this is an RGB light, by the way. You can change, right now it's in the bicolor mode, so it goes from, I believe it's 3400 Kelvin to 5200. I will verify that and put it in the notes. So this dial will go the whole way, 34 yellow to white. Now, it can also switch to RGB, and then it can go through the different colors. 360 degrees is what it's supposed to do. I only saw 4 colors in there. I have red, jumps to magenta-ish, jumps to cyan, jumps to green, and back to red. This is just with my finger going on the dial. There you go, 4 colors. Red, green, cyan, magenta, red. So there's no gradual change. And let's see, it's hot on red. We're going to adjust the intensity. That's it. It doesn't actually shut off. And then when you push the button again, it goes back to bicolor mode. Okay, so now you do have the option of controlling this using Wi-Fi, not Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. Let me explain to you the downsides of using Wi-Fi. As I mentioned, I have RGB lights, GVM RGB lights. Out of the box, the Wi-Fi is the same, but it's not the same Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi settings are the same, but it's not the same Wi-Fi. For you to change it, you have to initially connect to it, and then you can go in and change the name, the SSID, and the password. Not too bad. But now, if you have multiple GVM lights in there, you have to configure them individually. And you can't make them a mesh network. So you can't put them all on the same name with the same SSID and password and then control them concurrently. Can't do that. So what happens is, if you need to adjust lights, you either have to have multiple phones or keep switching back on your phone. from one SSID to the next. One of the reasons I don't like that is because if I also have to use my phone or my tablet or something else to attach to the internet, you can't do that. I have not yet found a way to attach these devices to a local Wi-Fi so that you can connect to them over the network as well as to the internet. I haven't found a way yet. I'm open if GVM tells me there's a way they can do that, great. The other problem I have is that when you have to attach to them by Wi-Fi, it takes you from controlling other devices that you may have on your network. So having to flip back and forth constantly becomes problematic. Or did I mention that already? Another thing is, once you get into the app, I'm going to connect to the app right now. Let's see how long it takes. And here's the problem. Because I have this GVM light on, I'm not sure which one I'll connect to. So let's take a look. I'm going to turn this one on for now. And I know what you're saying. Just turn off the other GVM. Well, let's see how that works. All right. Let's get on the GVM easy. GVM easily. That's the name of the product. GVM easily. Now trying to connect, first off to switch Wi-Fi. Okay. So there's GVM _LED. Okay. Now connecting. Okay. Connect to that internet. All right. Let's see. I'm still connecting. This is real time. And I'm still connecting. But I think this happens because I have multiple GVM lights on. So I'm going to turn off my key light, fill light, excuse me. I'm never sure if that makes much of a difference. Let me exit the app. Wait a few seconds. As a matter of fact, let me turn this one off and turn it back on. All right. So I should only have one GVM set up. I'm still connected to the GVM. I'm going to GVM easily. It's doing a search for the light. Okay, now it says connected. So I do have to turn off the other one. And now I can control the light. I should have it on a stand facing me so you could see. All right. So I can control it from the app. Now, from the app, it still does these massive jumps between colors, but at least I can get closer to blue. Okay, let me do this. All right, we're gonna see. Right now, it says magenta, but I'm actually on the blue. I don't even know if you could see that. I'm pointing to blue, but it's showing me a bit more magenta. Let's go into magenta, and it's just a deeper hue of magenta. You see the huge jumps? I'm literally only going just a little bit difference. And it's just huge jumps, so it's not very fluid. Let me go into cyan, green. This should be yellow, but I'm in the green. Now I'm in yellow, it's just a deeper yellow. And then it jumps. So the program, even for all it's worth, it still has these massive jumps, and I know my autofocus is jumping in and out. Thank you, Panasonic. I have my saturation up at 100%. So let me get into the reds. Right now, saturation is at 0, so all you get is a white light. You see that jump right there? I wish I can show you. Right now, I'm at what I consider 95% saturation. When I just go up a little bit more, it jumps. So there's no gradual decline or change in hue and saturation. Everything just seems to be huge jumps. So It can go from just 100% saturation to almost none, because from 95 to 0, it's the same. From 95 to 100, it's just one jump. Everything is an actual step, but it's not a gradual step in any sense of the imagination. This is daylight. Daylight, at one little click, it adds the tungsten light. It stays that way until I get down to 5%, and then it jumps to straight tungsten. So unfortunately, I cannot recommend the 7S at all. I wouldn't consider it even at its lowest price, even the price I bought it. There's just no benefit to it. I have my problems with the Luxley Viola. I guess I can turn the light back on. I had my problem with the Luxley Viola. It was far more expensive, and it had a tendency to break quite easily. The knobs, even when I stopped, I used to have it in my kit. When I took it just a couple of places, the knobs broke. Luxley was great. They sent me out a replacement. I left it on the shelf, and the knobs broke. And so I don't take it out with me. I usually just leave it here as an accent light or something. And that's a lot of money to pay for an accent light. And unfortunately, not spending enough money, you end up far worse. At least with the Luxley, you have control. The Aperture MC appears to be phenomenal. And I'll go back to my first statement. I'm too cheap. So sometimes being stingy with your money is good. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. So the GVM 7S, I can't recommend it. The Luxley Viola, they've discontinued it, and that should tell you something. But they've come out with a new version, which I have not bought. And everybody raves about the Aperture, so you come to your own conclusion on that. Sometimes money well spent saves you a lot of issues, a lot of problems. Problems and issues could be considered the same thing, but not always. And time. And that's worth all the money in the world. Thank you for watching, and here's hoping I see you soon. I said that wrong. Here's hoping you see me soon, because I never see you, you know. I get your comments. So how about this? Here's hoping you see me soon, and comment and subscribe, and keep your eye out for Unwired. Our podcast is going to switch over to a video cast, so stay tuned for that. And we also have Church AV Pro Forum is coming back every 2 weeks, Tuesday night at 6, starting April 6th. So stay tuned for that, 2021.